what other things are we doing on the farm to promote habitat and ecosystem and biodiversity? Well, I'm walking over to the edge of a field that we have where flock 2 is. And you can see this area right here that I'm spanning is the area where we're going to be running the chickens, right? We are going to be clipping it because moving the chicken coop into waist high goldenrod and other stuff is not a very pleasurable experience from an employee, work the farm perspective. So we are grazing this, but we will have to come in and trim it because we're using this electric net fencing. If there's too much material in here, it's going to ground out, things of that nature. So we are going to keep things fairly manicured on the areas where we're running the laying hens. But on the side of the field, we're not running the hens over here. So we can let things grow up a little bit. Now, the cool thing about these hedgerows that we're leaving in is that we'll let saplings develop. Eventually they're going to turn into trees. We may keep them or we may not keep them. So right now you can see a lot of sweet gum popping up. We're not going to keep them long term, but because they're fast growers, we're going to keep them because it's going to give us some quick shade. Now, the only animals that are having access to this are going to be the goats and the cattle. The cattle are going to come in here because it's going to be cool. You can see all this mashed down area. That's where the cattle were on the last cycle. So the cattle are going to come in here. They're going to graze. The goats are going to come in here and they're going to browse, but we're not running equipment in this area. So this is a safe zone, safe strip that we're leaving for things like the rabbits to nest safely, the things like the quail to nest safely. We recently had 2 biologists out from Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, and the joke that we kind of had going while we were out here was that one of the biologists said, "Man, I got to leave this place. I'm frustrated because you have more quail out here right now than what we do on an area that I manage for quail." So that was kind of funny. That was quite a compliment to hear that from a wildlife biologist, that we're making that kind of progress out here. So I'm walking through the strip. This area, that's not our property. This is the fence line property. We're keeping the area along the fence trimmed so we can access the fence, keep an eye on the fence, repair the fence, do whatever we need to do on the fence line. But throughout the entire farm, we're leaving these wildlife strips that eventually are going to turn into more of a silvopasture type system, but we're managing them for rabbit, for quail, for turkey, and for white-tailed deer. We want these species on our farm and to be present throughout the year. And that's part of farming while at the same time creating biodiversity. And that's what regenerative farming is all about. All right, everybody have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon.